Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're going to break down an absolutely incredible story. We're looking at the journey of a poor village boy named Ethan, and through his exact experiences, we're going to uncover the raw mechanics of persistence. So how does someone go from literally having nothing to building an empire? What does that actually look like day to day? Well, spoiler alert, it's not magic, and it definitely isn't luck. It's all about a very specific mindset. All right, let's jump right into the hardship with a pretty staggering number, 5. 5 miles is the distance Ethan's had to walk to school every single morning. And he wasn't doing this in comfortable gear, right? He did this in old, worn-out clothes simply because his family couldn't even afford a bicycle. I want you to just picture that baseline of adversity for a second. Before his school day even started, before he even picked up a pencil, he was already facing this massive physical and financial hurdle. Actually, scratch that, it was more like a daily marathon that most kids just didn't have to think about. Section 1, the village boy's dream. So it's one thing to push through physical hardship, but enduring the judgment of your peers? That's a whole different ballgame. One day, Ethan's teacher asked the class a simple question. What do you want to become in the future? And while his classmates are choosing the standard expected paths, doctors, engineers, pilots, Ethan boldly stands up and lays out his vision. He says, I want to build a company that creates jobs for thousands of people. The response? The entire room literally bursts into laughter. They looked at his old clothes, they thought about his daily 5-mile trek, and they just laughed at the sheer audacity of his dream. Section 2, the road of failures. Now, Ethan didn't argue with them. He didn't yell. He didn't try to justify himself. He just smiled, put his head down, and entered what would become an incredibly grueling period of his life. In those early years, because his house didn't have electricity, Ethan was actually out studying under streetlights. While everyone else was sleeping, he was teaching himself new skills using old, free library books. But, hard work doesn't just magically guarantee immediate success. A few years later, his first business fails completely. Then his second business fails too. And then comes maybe the heaviest blow of all. After years of repeated failure, his friends basically throw their hands up and tell him to quit. He's now totally, utterly alone in his ambition. Section 3, the turning point. So, how do you respond when literally everyone has walked away and told you to throw in the towel? Well, right at rock bottom, when the urge to quit was probably overwhelming, Ethan remembered a very specific piece of advice from his mother. She said, "Success belongs to the person who refuses to stop." It's such a simple sentence, but man, it triggered a profound shift for him. It completely removed the pressure of having to be the smartest guy in the room or having the most funding. It reduced the whole complex equation of success down to just one variable: forward motion. He just had to try one more time. And because he refused to stop, that single decision to try just one more time, it changed the whole shebang. He launched his business again, and slowly but surely it started to grow. It eventually transformed from this failing little venture into one of the biggest companies in the entire country. And that childhood dream, the exact one he was mocked for, it completely came true. Thousands of people actually found jobs because he just wouldn't give up on his vision. Section 4, returning in silence. This huge success leads to a pretty incredible climax. Years later, now an established industry leader, Ethan gets invited back to speak at his old school. Just think about the contrast here. Years ago, this exact same classroom erupted into mocking laughter at a poorly dressed village boy. Today, that very same room is packed with a new generation of students, and they are listening to this successful entrepreneur in absolute pin-drop silence. His persistence literally silenced the room. Standing up there, looking out at that quiet room, Ethan smiled and delivered a really hard-earned truth. He told them, people will laugh at your dreams until your hard work turns them into reality. Never let someone else's opinion decide your future. He managed to pack an entire decade-long, grueling journey all the way from those streetlights to the boardroom into just a few powerful sentences. Section 5, the final lesson. So, what is the big takeaway from everything we've looked at in this explainer? The mechanics of success are actually pretty simple. It doesn't inherently come to the smartest person. It doesn't come to the luckiest person or the kid who started with a bicycle instead of a 5-mile walk. It comes to the person who absolutely, under no circumstances, refuses to give up. Ethan didn't win because he had some secret advantage. He won because he outlasted the failures. I want to leave you with one final, provocative thought straight from Ethan's closing speech. Will you let someone else's opinion decide your future? The next time you face a massive setback, or the next time someone laughs at your ambition and tells you to quit, I want you to remember that boy studying under the streetlight. Protect your dreams, refuse to stop, and let your hard work do the talking. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and I really hope Ethan's journey fuels your own persistence today.